Thank you.
우리 새 예루살렘
Our New
성가대
Jerusalem
찬양
choir,
속 시원하죠?
the praise is so refreshing.
가사 보니까
As
주의
you look at the
은혜가
lyrics, it
넘치고
says
또
God's
넘치도다.
grace is
우리
overflowing
성가대
and it
내용들
overflows.
표정을 보니까
And looking
입이
at the expressions of our
넘치고 또
choir,
넘치도다.
their
그
mouths
입을
are
얼마나
open wide.
크게 벌리고 또 이 악기 연주하시는
And the
텔레반도
Tolero Orchestra, they're just moving about.
얼마나 은혜스러운지
Such a
오늘
graceful
진짜 은혜가
image.
넘쳤습니다.
And grace truly was
우리가
overflowing.
은혜 아니면 살 수가
Truly,
없습니다.
if it's without grace, then we cannot live.
그 세상 소식 들으면
If you listen to the news of the
기분
world,
나쁘고
it's all
또
things that
힘들고
bring
어려운 일들이
upon sad
많잖아요.
news.
뭐 아프다,
People are in
병들었다,
pain,
돈이 없다,
diseases, poverty.
또뭐 시험에 떨어졌다,
Someone
또
failed a
애가
test,
속썩인다, 뭐가 안
child
됐다.
died, this didn't happen.
그러나
But
하나님의 은혜로 사는 거예요. 은혜로.
we all live by God's grace.
하나님께서는 모든 어려운 일들을
All
결국은 다
difficulties
잘되게
will all
바꿔주시는
end
겁니다.
in good. And that's how God
지금 우리
works.
교회가
Our church right
많은
now
어려움을
is
겪고
going
있지만
through so many
분명히
difficulties, but
이것들도
it will
나중에 다
come to
잘되는
a good
일로 바뀌는
conclusion.
겁니다. 이렇게 날씨가 더운데
The weather is very
그때서
hot,
이 정문 기도에 참석하시는
and so it's very
성도님들
difficult to
대단합니다.
come out to the gate prayer meetings, and yet the saints do.
놀랄
And the
정도로
news reporters are
오늘
astounded.
또 정문 딱 돌면서
They went about, they went around the museum and the gate, and they said they shouted a hymn against the forces of Satan.
옆에서 뭐 호루라기 불고
And people around them are, speaking loudly in the speaker, blowing whistles, but it had no effect as they sang this hymn with faith.
하나님이 얼마나 기뻐하시겠습니까?
How happy must God be?
이것도 하나님 은혜예요.
Even this is God's grace.
다른 교회 성도들은 이런 경험이 없어요.
Other saints of other churches, they don't have this experience.
우리는
It's very unique to
평강제에
us.
다니는 바람에 이런 정문 기도도 해보고
And we've come to Pyeongangjeo Church. We go through these gate prayer meetings. We sing hymns to open up the church.
하여튼 별걸 다 해봐. 안 해본
We've
게
done
없어, 우리는.
all kinds of things.
다 이것이
And all of
하나님의
this
은혜입니다.
is
은혜.
God's grace.
자, 오늘 저는
Now today,
이 압살롬의
I'd like to talk
비참한
about
최후라는 제목으로
Absalom's
말씀을
tragic
시작하도록
end.
하겠습니다. 자, 압살롬은 다윗의
Now, Absalom was
세 번째
David's
아들입니다.
third son.
사무엘하 3장 2절 보면
2 Samuel
첫
chapter 3
번째
verse 2
맏아들이
It says sons were
암논이죠.
born to David at Hebron.
또
His
사무엘하
firstborn was
3장 3절
Amnon.
말씀 보니까
And if you
둘째
look in 2
아들은
Samuel chapter 3 verse 3, his second child was
길르압은
Kiliab.
성경에 족보에만 나오지
And Kiliab only comes out by the genealogy. There's actually no
많은
narrative regarding him.
사람들이 일찍
So,
죽었다.
A lot of
이렇게
people suspect that Kiliab had died
그리고
early.
셋째 아들이
And the third son
압살롬입니다.
is this person named Absalom.
구스랑 달메의 딸
This is
마가의
the-
아들이다. 이렇게 기록되어 있죠. 그러니
The son of
길르압이
Maacah,
일찍
the daughter of
죽었으니까
Talmai, king of Geshur.
암논이 장자라면 그 다음에
And so Amnon was the
둘째나 마찬가지인 사람이 압살롬인 거죠.
first son. It's almost as if the second, since Kiliab had died early, the
마지막에
second was
아버지
Absalom.
다윗에게 반역을 일으킴으로 결국은
And Absalom
아주
rebelled
비참하게
against his father
죽임을
David.
당합니다.
And because he did so,
물론
he
처음에는
met a wretched
반역이
death.
성공하는 것처럼 보였습니다.
At the beginning, it seemed as if his rebellion was successful.
다윗이 울면서
David was
신발도
weeping,
제대로
and he couldn't even put on his
신지
shoes,
못하고 눈물을 흘리면서
and he fled into the
도망갔지
wilderness.
사무엘하
If you look in 2
15장
Samuel
30절
chapter
말씀
15, verse
보니까
30,
다윗이
it says David went up
감람산
to
길로 올라갈
went up the
때에
ascent of the Mount
머리를
of Olives
가리우고
and wept as he
맨발로
went, and his head was covered, and he
물러행했다라고
walked
말씀하고
barefoot.
있습니다. 이렇게 반란이 성공한 것처럼 보였지만
It may have
결국
seemed as if the rebellion was a success, but in the end, Absalom,
머리털이 나무에
because his
걸려가지고
hair was caught in a tree,
모세가 그냥 지나갈 때 대롱대롱
the soldiers
매달려 있었는데
found him hanging, and Joab
심장을 칼로
struck him in the heart.
죽이고 또 요압의 부하
And then
병사들
Joab's
10명이
armor bearers, 10 of them,
압살롬을
they beat Absalom to death.
칼에 찔릴 뿐만 아니라
Not
10명이
just being stabbed,
달라들어서
but being beaten to death by 10
그
people.
말씀이 사무엘하
That's in 2
18장
Samuel chapter
14절,
18, verse
15절
14 and
오늘
15,
본문에
our main verse
기록되어
today.
있습니다. 저는 오늘
Today,
압살롬은 어떤 사람이었는지
what kind of a person was
구속사적으로
Absalom?
교훈을
I'd like to
얻고자
talk about the
합니다.
redemptive
첫째로
administrative
압살롬은
lesson contained within
복수심이
it.
강한
And the first point for today is that Absalom was a cruel man with a strong desire for vengeance.
암놈이
David's eldest son
압살롬의
Amnon,
여동생 다말을
he loved Absalom's younger sister
어머니가
Tamar.
틀리니까
The mother was different, and so
동생, 여동생이죠.
it's a half
사무엘하
sister.
13장 1절 말씀
2 Samuel
보니까
chapter 13 verse
다윗의
1,
아들 압살롬에게
it says after this
아름다운
that
누이가
Absalom the son
있으니
of David had a beautiful
이름은
sister whose
다말이라.
name was Tamar.
다윗의 아들 암놈이
And Amnon the
다말을
son of David
사랑했습니다.
loved her.
암논은
Amnon pretended to be sick to have Tamar wait on
아버지
him.
다윗에게 저 다말을 나한테 보내서
He requested to his father David, send to me Tamar.
그리고
And once
자신을
he did,
착하게 수종들러 온 다말을
he coerced her kindly.
관계를 맺고
And then suddenly he forcibly lay with her.
갑자기 미움으로 바뀌어가지고
And his loving heart changed into a hateful one, and he caused Tamar to go away.
사무엘하
2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 14. It says, however, he would not listen to her, since he was stronger than she. He violated her and lay with her.
다말이 그랬죠. 아니 오빠
Tamar said,
이런
how
괴악한
can you
일을
do
왜 하려고
this?
그러냐고.
Older brother, how can you
아니,
do such an
아버지
evil
다윗한테
thing?
이야기하면 아버지 다윗이
If you
나를 당신에게 준
tell
거 아닙니까?
our father David, then he can give me to you. Don't do this.
다윗 왕에게
Let's
이야기하자고.
go upon the proper protocol.
거절하고
And yet
강제로
Amnon,
관계를
he rejected this
그리고
and
사무엘하
forced
13장
himself upon
18절
her.
말씀 보니까
2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 18, it says, then his attendant took her out and locked the door behind her.
문을 잠궈버렸던 것입니다. 이렇게
And so in this way,
다말은 어려운 일을 당하고
Tamar underwent such a difficult time,
갈 데가 없어가지고
and she had nowhere to go,
압살롬의
and so she
집으로
goes to her
가서
older brother
처량하게
Absalom's
평생
house.
결혼도 하지 못하고
And for the remainder of her life, she never wed.
이걸 보고서
And seeing
압살롬이
this image, Absalom,
다말의 그 비참한 모습을
it's
보면서
such a wretched image, and his revengeful heart began to develop regarding his brother Amnon. For 2 years, he waited.
아무 말도 안 하고
He didn't say anything. He just quietly waited for 2 years.
그러면서 마음속으로만
And within his heart,
중심을 키우고
he nurtured this revengeful heart.
사무엘하 13장
2 Samuel chapter
23절
13 verse
말씀
23
보니까
says, now it came about after 2 full years.
다말 사건이 일어난 지
Means
2년이
that
됐다.
2 years had passed since the incident of Tamar.
마침 양털 깎는
And it's the
날이
time that it's the
되었습니다.
sheep bearers or the sheep shearers in Baal
제
Hazor.
동네에 잔치가
And during this time when the sheep are sheared, it is a grand festival for all the people.
술을 먹이고
They invite guests, they give them good meat, they give them good wine,
가난한 사람을
and even the poverty, the people that are in poverty, they would invite them.
다윗 왕에게 부탁해가지고
And so
다윗 왕의
the request is made until David.
압살롬의 형제들을 다
And so
양
all of the king's sons, including Absalom, are invited during this sheep shearing festival.
암논도 초대받아 온 거죠.
And it's at this time that Amnon also was
두
invited.
잔 먹으면서
He
암논이
drank
기분이
1-2 glasses of wine, and it's when Amnon felt his most joyful.
지시를 했죠. 야, 암논이 술이 거나게 취해서
So because Amnon is drunk,
내가 시킨 대로 죽여라.
Absalom, he gave the order, I'm going to strike him.
자, 사무엘하 13장 28절
2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 28,
압살롬이
Absalom commanded his servants, saying, see now, when Amnon's heart is merry with
암논의
wine,
마음이 술로 즐거워할 때를 자세히
and when I
보다가
say to you,
내가 너에게
strike
암논을
Amnon
치라
and
하거든
put him to
쳐
death.
죽이라. 그래서 29절에
And so in verse 29, the servants of Absalom did to Amnon just as Absalom had commanded.
사랑하는 성도 여러분,
Beloved saints,
압살롬이 자기 여동생을 범한 암논에 대하여
Absalom's
분노를
hatred and wrath towards his brother Amnon,
하려고 한 것은
his revenge
그
towards his
당연한 거
brother,
아니냐? 인지상정 아니냐?
people might think that, of course, that's normal.
있을 겁니다.
It's natural that he developed a revengeful heart.
그러나
But
그 문제를
that problem, that
암논을
issue,
죽이는 것으로 해결할
it's not resolved by killing Amnon. Why?
사람을 죽이는 것은 살인죄고
Killing a person is murder. It's breaking the Ten
출애굽기
Commandments.
20장
Exodus
13절에
chapter 20, verse
살인하지
13, you
말지니라.
shall not murder.
하나님께서
God has given this command.
살인하지 말고
Do not kill, do not murder. Use a
그래서 이
different
문제를
process.
해결했어야 되죠.
Use a different method.
하나님께서는 우리 인간이 복수하는 것도
God
금지시켰습니다.
has even forbidden mankind from
그
seeking vengeance.
복수를 하나님께 맡기지 않고
And that
내가
vengeance,
복수하려고 하잖아요.
we don't entrust it to God, but we try to take it upon our own hands. Oh, that fool, just let him alone. That guy, I'm going to make sure that his legs are tied up.
너 반드시
I'm going to make sure that the day will come when you regret all your actions. And so within your heart, you nurture this vengeful time, this vengeful spirit.
신명기 32장
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35.
보수는 내
God
것이다.
says, vengeance is mine.
우리말 성경에는 이렇게 번역하고
In
있습니다.
the Korean
복수하는
version,
것은 내일 하나님의
it
일이다.
says that vengeance is something that will take place tomorrow. God will pay them back. This is in Deuteronomy 32, 35, the New Living Translation. And if you look at Romans chapter 12, verse 19, never take your own revenge, beloved, but leave room for the wrath of God. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord.
주님께서 말씀하고 계십니다. 사랑하는 성도 여러분,
Beloved saints,
혹시 저와 여러분에게
if you and I
마음속에도
have
아직도
harbored this
복수심이
emotion
불타고
of vengeance and revenge in our
이
hearts,
복수심은 결국은 나의
that
인생을
conclusion
불행하게 만듭니다.
is something that will only cause more misfortune in our life.
복수하고 싶은 마음이
And so our
있다고 할지라도
desire to seek vengeance,
하나님께
we
맡기고
must entrust that to God.
처리하도록
We must
맡길
allow
때
God to take
하나님께서
care of it.
공의롭게
And when we
처리해
do,
주시는 것입니다.
God promises that He will.
다윗도
Even David,
얼마나 사울을 죽이고 싶었겠습니까?
how much was his desire
또
to
두
kill
번이나
Saul?
사울을
Twice
죽일 수
he was
있는
given the
기회를
opportunity
주셨지
to kill
않습니까?
him.
그러나
And yet,
여호와의 기름 부음 받은 자를
David
죽이는 것은
confessed that he
하나님께서
must
금하신
not
것이라.
kill that person who is anointed by God.
아직 다윗은
And until the very end,
자기 손으로
David
처리하지 않고
did not take
하나님께
upon
맡겼습니다.
vengeance with his own hands. He entrusted it to
사랑하는
God.
성도 여러분,
Beloved saints,
오늘도
today,
혹시 나의 마음속에
if we have
복수심이
harbored
있다면
this feeling of
이제는
vengeance in our
내려놓고
heart, we must lay it all down.
끼는
We must
가운데
entrust it all to God
하나님께서
and allow
공의롭게
God
처리해
to
주시는
take
역사가 일어나시기를
to
주님의
conclude it.
이름으로
And this I bless you in the name of the Lord.
큰 두 번째,
Main point number 2.
압살롬은
Absalom
은혜를 보답할
was an
줄 모르는
ungrateful man who did not know how to repay grace.
압살롬은
After
자기
killing
형
Amnon,
암논을
Absalom
죽이고
fled to Geshur,
어머니 나라인
and
구술로
Geshur was his mother's
도망갔습니다.
country.
그 구술에서
In
몇 년
Geshur,
동안 있었는지 아십니까?
do you know how long he stayed there? For 3 years he stays there. He stays there as a
사무엘하
refugee.
13장
2 Samuel
38절
chapter 13
말씀하세요.
verse 38 says, so
압살롬이
Absalom had fled and
도망하여
gone to
그술로
Geshur
가서 거한 지
and was there 3
3년이라고
years.
정확하게 기록이 되어 있습니다.
3 years.
그런데
And
이
yet,
압살롬이
this
다시
Absalom,
예루살렘으로 돌아올 수 있도록 도와준 사람,
the person that helped him
여러
return to
가지
Jerusalem,
배려를 해준 사람이 누굽니까?
it was this person named Joab. He was a general.
왜 요압은 압살롬이 돌아오도록
Why did Joab want Absalom to come back?
다윗의 첫째 아들이 암논이죠.
David's first son is Amnon.
둘째 아들
His
길르압은
second son, Gilead,
일찍
most
죽었습니다.
likely has died early.
그러므로 그 다음으로
And so
왕위를
after
계승해야
that
될
person, the
사람이
person who's
압살롬.
eligible to receive the kingship is this person, Absalom.
압살롬이
And
죄를
so
지었지만
Joab is thinking, even though
그래도
Absalom had sinned,
압살롬이 다윗을 이어서 왕이 될
he still
사람인데
has the ability to
내가
become king after David.
압살롬에게 잘
And so Joab's
보여야
thinking,
앞으로
I need to be good to this
후기를
person, Absalom, so that I can
그래서
ensure my future
요압은
seat.
압살롬을 데려오는데
And so
앞장섰어요.
Joab was a person at the forefront to
그거와의
bring back this
실기 있는 여자
Absalom.
한 사람을 불러가지고 할 말을 입에 다 대줬습니다.
And he sends a messenger, tells him what exactly to say.
이렇게
He says, hey,
내가
say this and this and this
다윗왕에게 이야기.
as I instruct you,
그
tell
이야기 내용이
David.
뭡니까?
And what is that?
왕이시여.
Oh, king,
저한테 아들 둘이 있는데
even though you have two
아들들 둘이
sons,
싸우다가
as they
한
fought,
아들이
one son
다른 아들을 쳐서 죽였습니다.
killed the other son.
그런데 동네 사람들이
And those
그
around
아들이
in the neighbor,
살인자니까 죽여야 된다고
they're saying they
남아있는
must
아들을
kill
죽이려고 합니다.
the remaining son that had murdered. What do we do?
그러니까 다윗이 야,
And so David says, how can that be?
죽이려고 하는 놈을 다 데리고 와라.
Bring them both to me.
그래도 이미 한 아들이 죽었는데 남아있는 아들이라도
And so even though one of the sons are dead, we must ensure the survival of the second son, right?
근데 실은 압살롬을 살려야 된다.
So through this story, David is saying that we must bring back Absalom, but then this was given in the form of a parable.
무슨 이야기인지
At first, David didn't know what this story was. He didn't know that it was a story of himself.
압살롬 얘기하는구나.
And later on, he realized, this is a story about Absalom.
실대로 얘기하라. 너한테 얘기해 준 사람이 요압이지? 요압이.
And so Joab confessed that this was his doing. So David called Joab and he said, bring Absalom. And so after 3 years, Absalom was able to come back home.
우리는 그 내용을
Now that narrative, it's in 2 Samuel chapter 14.
자, 사무엘하 14장 20.
Chapter 14, verse 21. Then the king said to Joab, behold now, I will surely do this thing. Go therefore, bring back the young man Absalom. And in verse 23, so Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. But for David, even though he did bring back Absalom after 3 years, he didn't see his face. He just brought him and just told him to, and allowed him to live in Jerusalem. He never physically met Absalom. And this is because in the heart of David, it was still not resolved.
얼마 동안 안 쳐다봤냐?
For 2 years, he did not look upon Absalom's face.
암논을 죽인 다음에 벌써 5년이 지난 거 아니야?
After Amnon was killed, 5 years had elapsed. 3 years Absalom spent in Geshur, 2 years in Jerusalem. David never looked at his face, so 5 years had passed. 2 Samuel chapter 14, verse 28. Now Absalom lived 2 full years in Jerusalem and did not see the king's face. And so Absalom came back, but he has to meet the king. And he has to meet the king in order that the people of the kingdom would know that he's been forgiven. But because the king had not met Absalom, the people of the kingdom did not acknowledge him. And so he sends his lackey to Joab, his messenger, and he requests to Joab to let him meet his father David. But Joab, he didn't even meet the messengers. He just sent them back. And so Absalom sends them again. Please make a seat for me in front of King David. And again, Joab didn't meet them. Why? If they'd come from all a long way, he should have met the messengers. But then Joab didn't meet them. And the reason for this is because Joab thought to himself, Absalom is someone that is not eligible to become king. Because David was keeping distance with Absalom, Joab also kept distance with Absalom. Absalom was not a normal person. Oh, you're not going to meet me? All right, then let's see what happens. And so he sets fire to the barley field of Joab. He sent his messengers, his people, go set fire to his barley field. And so it was all burned up. It's almost harvest time. All they need to do is harvest, but everything's burnt. And so Joab, he asks, who the heck did this? And then they say, Absalom. And so he met Absalom. And Absalom tells him, he confronts him, "Why did you bring me here and still not allow me to meet my father, King David?" And so Joab was forced to bring Absalom before David. 2 Samuel chapter 14, verse 29. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but he would not come to him. Right? So he sent again a second time, but he would not come. Verse 30. Therefore he said to his servants, "See, Joab's field is next to mine, and he has the barley there. Go and set it on fire." So Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Now, verse 33. So when Joab came to the king and told him, he called for Absalom. Thus he came to the king and prostrated himself on his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. So now, he killed Absalom, and 5 years later, Absalom finally receives forgiveness from David. It's been a long time. He kissed him, and all the sins that he had committed thus far were forgiven. So how thankful must he be? But Absalom, even though 5 years later he had finally met his father David, within his heart, he was so angry. How can he call me? And 2 years he never met my face. That's no father. And so in his heart became harbored with hatred. You know, no matter how angry you are, it's fine. But it's Joab that brought him back to Jerusalem. But how could he set fire to his barley field? So Absalom, if it was for his own personal gain, he's willing to do whatever it takes. Even amongst our societies, right? There's those people who do this. People that are willing to do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, they're just living wretched lives. And so for 4 years, he prepares a rebellion. So after 4 years, he finally rebels against his father. 3 years in Geshur, he came back. He didn't meet him for 2 years, right? So 5 years had elapsed. And so David kissed Absalom. He received forgiveness. And for 4 years after, he prepares for this rebellion. And so 9 years later, this rebellion took place. David could have killed Absalom on account of killing his son Amnon, but all of his sin was forgiven, and he reinstated him to his original position. What an amazing act of grace this is. And yet still, because David didn't meet with him 2 years, that small little thing, Absalom was engulfed in it. And so he rebels against his father. Beloved saints, we too, by Jesus' grace, we have been forgiven of all of our sins. How dare we kiss David, right? And yet we, as children of God, by Jesus, the King of Kings, we have met his lips, and we are now called as his children. We are called the bride of Jesus. This grace is unfathomable. And yet we forget that grace. And because of a small little thing, small little hatred, we do not do the work of God and we leave him. In the sight of God, how unfortunate is that? 1 John chapter 3 verse 15 says, everyone who hates his brother is a murderer. Absalom, he hated Joab. He hated David. Hatred is the sin of murder. Today, how much do we hate other people? We hate our mother-in-law. The mother-in-law hates the daughter or the bride, hate the sons, hate the parents.
또 형제끼리
Brothers hate each other.
동생을
The older
정말
brother hates the younger hates the older.
근데 그 미움이
But that hatred is murder.
미움의 결과는
The
내
result
스스로
and the
나의
conclusion of
인생을
hatred,
망하게 만드는 거예요.
it makes my life wretched.
시편 116편
Psalm
12절에
chapter 116 verse 12
여호와께서 내게 주신
says,
은혜를
"What shall I render to the Lord for all his benefits toward me?"
시편 기자는 고백하고 있습니다. 사랑하는 성도 여러분,
Beloved saints,
우리가 받은 은혜를 생각할 때
when you think about the grace that we have received, how great and vast it is,
조그만한
and yet this small little unfortunate event, this small little thing that has caused me to feel bad or feel hatred, and because of that small thing we throw away that immense grace, how wretched would our lives become.
오늘
And so
조그만한
today,
미움과
that small little hatred, that small little dislike, that small little
내려놓고
discomfort,
늘 하나님의
throw it
크신
away.
은혜를 보답하면서
replace it
그
with
은혜를
God's great
어떻게 하면
grace.
보답할 것인가 생각하면서
Think of how to
남은
preserve that
평생에
grace. And for the remainder of our lives,
저와 여러분이 다 되시기를
may we be those
주님의
who
이름으로
thank God for all of his benefits. And this I bless you in the name of the Lord. In conclusion, Absalom
사람들의 마음을
was a man who stole the hearts of the people.
사무엘하 15장
2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 16.
무릇
In this manner,
이스라엘
Absalom
중에
dealt with all Israel who
왕께
came to the
재판을
king for
청하는
judgment.
사람들이 있었습니다.
So all these people came to David.
그런데 다
But
압살롬이
Absalom,
중간에서 이스라엘
he
사람의
stole the
마음을
hearts of the
도적하니라.
men of Israel.
몇 년 동안
For how long?
4년 동안
4
그
years.
마음을 도적질했습니다.
For 4 years, he stole the hearts.
어떻게 준비하였습니까?
How did he
첫째로
prepare? Firstly,
자기를 위하여
he
사명을
organized a
줬습니다.
private army for
사무엘하
himself.
15장 1절에
2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 1. Now it came about after this that Absalom provided for himself a chariot and horses
두
and 50
번째는
men as runners before him.
재판을 하러 오는
Secondly,
백성의
he
마음을
stole the hearts of the
도적질했습니다.
people who came for judgment.
백성들이
The people
왕께 재판을 청하기 위해서
would come
그
before the
오는 길이
king,
있거든요.
and there's a special road
그
that they
성문
would take,
앞에 그 길에
and it leads them to the
미리
front
압살롬이
of the
서
gate.
있다가
And Absalom is staying there in the beginning. And he says, "Oh, why'd you come here?" And so the people would say, "Oh, I came here for this and that."
그러면
And so
압살롬이
Absalom would
뭐라고
say,
얘기합니까? 야,
"Hey,
네 말이
your
옳고
words
바르다
are
말이야.
right and they're correct."
다윗의
But
도와줄
no one
가운데는
will, on the side of David, will listen to your difficulty. No one can resolve it. The king is that kind of a person.
왜 안 세웠습니까? 괜히 다윗을 매도하는 것입니다.
And so Absalom is,
사무엘하 15장 3절
if
말씀
you look at
보세요.
2 Samuel chapter
네
15
일이
verse
옳고
3,
바르다마는
your claims are good and right, but no man listens to
왕께서
you on the
세우지
part of the
아니하셨다.
king.
그러면서 사무엘하 15장 4절에
And in verse 4,
앞으로
it says, "From now on, I
재판관이 되면
will be your judge.
내가 들어줄게."
I'll listen to you."
이렇게 은근히 이야기를 합니다. 내가 재판관이 된다는 것은
If I
앞으로
do
내가
this,
왕이 되면
if I do and sit in this seat of judgment,
이렇게
as king,
은근히
I will
이야기를
listen to all of your requests. This is what Absalom is doing.
백성들이
And so the people, they're so thankful.
왕은 못 만났어도 지금
Even though I couldn't meet the king right now,
왕위를 이어받을
I've met the heir of the throne.
둘째 아들 없고 셋째
The first is murdered, the second is dead, the third is left. And that Absalom is someone that is going to listen to all my requests and hardships.
압살롬 앞에 땅에 엎드려서
And so these people would bow before Absalom.
압살롬이 아니 왜 그러냐고
And he would say, "Oh, what are you doing?"
붙잡고 이러지
And they would
말고
take
그래서
hold of his hand and kiss him.
맞춰줍니다. 그 백성들이
And so the people were just moved by their
나 같은 게
emotions.
뭔데?
Oh, I'm so unworthy. How can you listen to someone as unworthy as myself?
도와준다 그러니까 그냥 그
And so,
인간적인
because
힘에
this
그
royal
구원받아.
person is going to give an unworthy person such aid, they're just so happy.
사무엘하 15장
2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 5.
사람이 가까이 와서
And when a man
절하려고
came
하면
near to prostrate himself
압살롬이
before him,
손을 펴서
he would put out his hand and take hold of him and kiss him.
그래서 그 결과
So the
민심이
result of that,
전부 압살롬에게
all these
돌아서기 시작했어요.
people, their hearts turned towards Absalom.
다윗은 뭐 만날 수가 있습니까?
Can they meet David? No.
얼마나 바쁜지 몰라.
He's so busy.
딱 압살롬
But at that time, there's this Absalom,
해결해
this
주겠다고
person willing to meet them, this person that says that he will resolve everything, this person that seems as if they are so caring for you.
야, 이런 사람이 앞으로 왕이 돼야 되겠구나.
So they're thinking, this is the kind of person that needs to become king.
그 결과 많은 백성의 인심이 압살롬에게로
And so as a result, the hearts of many people turned to Absalom. 2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 12 in the latter half, it says, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom.
또 사무엘하 15장
2
13절에서
Samuel chapter 15 verse 13.
사자가 다윗에게 와서
Then a messenger
그러되
came to David saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are with Absalom.
압살롬에게 돌아갔나이다. 사랑하는 성도 여러분,
Beloved saints,
압살롬은 이제 인심을 얻었습니다.
Absalom has now received
압살롬이
the hearts
얻지
of the
못한 게
people.
한 가지가 있었습니다.
And he's received so many things, but there's
압살롬은
one thing that he
중심을
didn't.
얻지 못했습니다.
The one thing he
하늘의
did
마음,
was that
하나님의
he did not
마음을 얻지
win
못했습니다.
the heart of heaven.
다윗은 비록
David,
인심은 얻지 못했다 할지라도
even though he did not receive the hearts of the people, he gave his all.
그래서 사무엘하
And
13장
because he gave his
22절에
all, in Acts chapter 13, verse 22, it says, I found David the son of Jesse, a man after my heart, who will do all my
말씀하고
will.
있는 것입니다. 압살롬 그 이름의 뜻이 얼마나 좋습니까?
The meaning of Absalom is so
아버지는
great. It means, my father is peace.
평화이시다라는 뜻입니다. 만약 압살롬이 그
If
이름대로
Absalom had lived his life according to the meaning of his name, in order to receive the heart of God the Father and live the faithful life, then his life would have been a peaceful one. And yet Absalom did not. He received the hearts of the people, but he did not receive the heart of heaven. And so his life was a wretched life. Beloved saints, the true victor is the one who gives all of his heart. Today, those of us that stand on the side of the word, may we be those who do not receive the hearts of people, but may we be the people that receive the hearts of God, the hearts of heaven. And so, that person is the one that will be victorious. That person is the one that will recover the church. And that person is the one that will take the redemptive word and proclaim it throughout the world. Beloved saints, today, may we not be like Absalom, who uses our efforts to receive the hearts of men, but each and every day may we pray. Each and every day may we cling unto the word, so that we are able to receive the heart of God and stand at the forefront of redemptive history.
그 어머니가 완전 불도잖아요. 그런데 딸이 80일 동안 어머니를 위해서 작정 기도했잖아요.
For 80 days, the daughter prayed for her sick mother. And eventually, the mother came to our church, received Jesus, and she went to heaven. And the mother, I've met her every time at Moriah Sanctuary. I'd hold her hand, but she'd always give me something crumpled up. And she'd put it in my pocket. So other saints are coming, so I can't take it out. I don't know what it is. And after all the service is done, I go to my office and I take out what it is. And it's a 10,000 won bill. And it's rolled up like a toothpick. And she gives it to me. You know, Pastor, buy the kids some crackers and snacks. I still remember this. But under that person, the daughter prayed for her mother 80 days. There's nothing impossible by prayer. our families, our businesses, workplaces, whatever problems exist, when we pray to God, lift up everything to Him. And when you do, all of your problems will be resolved. Today, please pray before God, lift up everything. May you be that kind of faithful worker. And this I bless you in the name of the Lord. Now at this time, let us sing hymn.